Welcome to Impolite MTG,
where we're going to talk about Magic the Gathering.
and we're not always going to be nice about it.
I'm Chris Lane, Tattler of Tales.
Hey, I'm Dave, Guru of S'mores.
So if you were watching this in order of video release, you'll recall we kind of went a little hard with our last few videos. So today we're going to keep it light and breezy, like a Scotsman in a kilt. And we're going to talk about our favorite commander decks.
All right, how do you want to decide who gets interviewed for this clip, Chris?
Why don't we roll some dice?
Ooh, I like rolling dice, except for AFR. Fuck that.
Yeah.
All right, here's
Bad idea.
here's a dice roller on Google. So, do you want the high roll or the low roll?
Give me the low roll.
Rolled an 18. It looks like I go first.
So, Mr. Guru of S'mores, how about you tell me about your deck?
Well, it's about 7 inches and it has a decent. Deck. Right.
You might want to get that checked out by a doctor. If it's 7 inches thick, I mean, it's a little swollen. You might, yeah. Anyways, no, tell me about Tatiova here.
Yeah, so she's, your box standard landfall deck. She wants to play a bunch of lands, accrue a bunch of value, and win. There's a number of ways to win. If you end up on this train where you're just drawing a billion cards, you're able to cycle through all your lands because you've got Ramanap Excavator on the battlefield and some shock lands that every time you take a shock damage, you're still getting the life back, so you can just keep doing it. If you're going real long on the card draw, you can Labman and Thoracle. There's also a Crater Hoof in there, so you can win. That's actually how I won a game today. There's ways out, but what it is at the end of the day is a Simic value engine via landfall.
Okay, well, that kind of leads me to my first question here, actually. With the number of landfall commanders out there that are obviously stronger or have stronger abilities or access to more colors, why did you pick Tatiova?
I went with Tatiova because she's very consistent. You don't got to worry about, maxing out your landfall triggers with, like, say, Omnath. Not going with 3-color Omnath or even the other 2-color Omnath. It simplifies the complexity of what's already a complex equation by sticking to 2 colors. I don't got a mana fix. I don't got to worry about all that nonsense. I can just play lands and go. The other thing I will say is why Tatiova over AC? Do not underestimate that life gain. That life gain will be the difference between you winning a game and losing a game. It also gives you access to Ancient Tomb and Sylvan Library in a way that's very comfortable. You also don't take a lot of hits from your fetch lands, so do not underestimate that life gain.
Yeah, it's kind of why I'm rocking her in Omnath Focus Creation, actually.
Yeah, she goes into pretty much the 99 of anything else that can run her.
Would you say she's in your favorite color combination? And did that help you decide on making her the commander for this deck?
So Simic is my favorite 2-color combination, but if I had to pick a favorite color combination total, I would probably say it's Bant. Because
really?
Yeah, there's a lot of Bant commanders I end up looking at. Ooh, that'd be fun to build, but I have a Rune of the Hidden Realm deck, so I don't like to build too many decks of the same color, unlike somebody in a certain Discord server who shall be unnamed.
Yeah, someone with a certain stone-related name.
Yeah, a gem-related name.
Yeah, almost, green in color.
Yeah, almost like
Tatiova.
Yeah, like Tatiova, exactly.
Emerald. Mox.
Yeah, you were the one who named dropped him this time.
I did no such thing. I just said Emerald Mox.
Okay, Mox Emerald.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
All right, moving on.
Borrowing a term from Mitch, what would you say is the golden pig of this deck?
Ooh, easily Scapeshift. Scapeshift is the one card where if I'm ahead, I still want to play it because it's just going to set me so far ahead. But the reason it's the golden pig in my deck is because if I'm behind, it can set me up for a much better turn next turn. But also I can come from being on the back foot to springboarding forward to being in control of the match. Scapeshift is that one card that it can be absolutely back-breaking as a tempo play. Because literally, I just 4 mana and my commander is out. I want to play Scapeshift.
That's good. Yeah, that kind of makes it easy to pick one in your deck.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't really have that for Galazeth, actually, so...
Yeah, it makes sense. There's a lot of good cards in your deck, whereas in Tatiova, there's a lot of good cards, but there's one card above all else that no matter what I'm doing, I want to play it.
So, are there any intentional infinite combos, powerful synergies in this deck? Is there anything that, like...
Oh, there's a ton of powerful synergies, but as far as infinite combos, intentional infinite combos, yeah, there's one main one that I want to highlight.
What is this?
And that is Kodama of the East Tree with Moloku, the Clouded Mirror, but you can also pull the combo off with Kodama of the East Tree and Rampaging Balos. However, the variant with Rampaging Balos, you do need a bounce land. So in this deck, you want Simic Growth Chamber or you want Guildless Commons. So there is a slight variant of this combo using Rampaging Balos, but we're going to focus on the Kodama East Tree Moloku combo. And the way the combo works is you have Moloku out, you have Kodama out. You pay 1 to return a land you control to its owner's hand. Then it creates a 1/1 blue illusion token with flying. That's going to trigger Kodama, which says, hey, you can put a permanent out. Well, you put a permanent out, which is the land you just played, and you just pay the 1 and bounce it back. It's going to create another spirit, and that's the loop. From there, you can go into stuff like drawing your whole deck if Tatyova or AC is out. And then you can Labman Thoracle that way. Or you can just generate a bunch of spirits and try and survive the turn and just have a bunch of dudes on the battlefield that, is going to be flying and blocking. Or one of my favorite particularly nasty combos or synergies is doing the landfall stuff with Royal Elemental. So you just start stealing everybody's stuff. So it's like, all right, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. Good luck having any creatures. Oh, you can't kill me because you have no creatures.
Yeah, that sounds really mean.
It can be. It's definitely salt-inducing.
Yeah, so I'm looking at this combo now for Locus of Creation. This is going to be like a good thing for this deck.
Oh, yeah, it's a fun combo.
So, are there any seemingly bad cards that actually work incredibly well in this deck? Or is there anything you wish you could include in this deck?
Well, there's a million things I wish I could include in a deck. Don't we all feel that way about a Commander deck? It's 100 cards, and you only get maybe a third of that because the rest is land and ramp and removal.
Yeah.
So, but as far as like suboptimal cards that maybe seem counterintuitive, yeah, I'm gonna say Deprive and Trade Routes. Trade Routes, when you look at the card at face value, it's like, why would you want to bounce your lands back to your hand? You want as many lands out on the battlefield to be able to have as much mana. Well, in a Tatyova deck or a Landfall deck, sometimes you have enough mana to make your plays, but you need triggers. You need landfall triggers. So Trade Routes is a great way to, just keep bouncing the same land and re-triggering it. And if, like, say you have a Zeusa or whatever, you're like, all right, well, I'm just going to play this land 3 times, and that's 3 card draws, that's 3 life.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Deprive, I feel a lot of times you want to play somewhat less than optimal cards because even if it's less than optimal, it still synergizes with your deck, which points the optimization somewhere else with the synergy of your deck. Like you're playing Spell Swindle in Galazeth.
It's a 5-mana counterspell, and it's not very good in most decks, but
yeah,
even if I get three treasure out of it, like I'm happy with that. That gets me 3 extra mana that with Galazeth on the field I can use over and over and over again.
Yeah, it ends up paying for itself. And then with Deprive, it's like, yeah, I got to bounce a land back to my hand to counter your spell, but that's going to be another landfall trigger if I need one, or even if I don't, it's just another counter spell. It's literally 2 blue, counter a spell. And, about the land, yeah, I wanted to do that anyways.
That's pretty good then, yeah. Yeah, honestly, like, I really like your deck here. Yeah, thanks for answering those questions for me.
Yeah, you're welcome, Chris. Let's move on to your deck. So tell me about Galazeth Prismari.
Yeah. So this is like version 50 million for my Is It Commander sort of thing. Like, it's been my favorite color combination for a while here. But the reason why Galazeth Prismari specifically is it kind of opened up a new play opportunity for me. I wanted a more unique way to play the color combinations, and having like the 2 things it seems to like to do, play artifacts and play spells. Just kind of like created this really, really fun play environment. So the deck is actually a Storm deck, which I know Dave doesn't really like, but I like it. It's fun. I enjoy 20-minute turns, 30-minute turns.
Hey, man, Tatyova does her own, like, 5 to 10, 15-minute turns because it's just branching evolution of, like, draw a card. Oh, that changes my mind. All right, let me do that. Oh, draw a new card. All right, let's do that. I definitely understand the 20-minute turn, bud.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of why, that's kind of all I really want to say about him right now until we get into some of the questions here.
Yeah, that sounds like a fantastic experience for, person who likes playing Storm. So, knowing that you changed your commander, why did you go from Niv Mizzet to Galazeth? What does he offer over Niv?
Okay, so the big reason why I went from Niv Mizzet over to Galazeth is because I've played 2 of the 3 versions of 2-Killer Niv. I played the Firemind and I played Perron. And, both fun and play experiences. The problem is they both tend to run the same combo every time. They tend to use Curiosity or Ophidianite to actually try and win the game.
Yeah.
And it's fun the first couple times you do it, and I pulled it off quite a bit. And it's led to some really funny moments where near the end of a game where I was losing really, really badly, I drew Ophidianite, which has Flash, and I was able to sneak that onto Perun and just outright beat my my friend. And there's nothing he could do about it. So the transition actually occurred kind of with Galazeth being it took the deck entirely away from those sorts of combos.
Yeah.
And more into a play environment that I really wanted to get more into, and that's Storm. I've always liked the archetype in Modern and the other formats where it was legal, and it was always kind of entertaining to see it actually run well. And so I wanted to find ways to make it unique in its own separate thing.
Right.
So that's kind of where Galazeth came in there. It's just kind of as a fun little build around piece.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So, given the bifurcated nature of Galazeth, he cares about instances and sorceries, but he also cares about artifacts. How do you balance the difference there? How do you balance between artifacts and spells in a deck that demands, both?
2 words. Token generators.
Ooh.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This deck is super, super intensive for the spell count. I'm running 30 instants and sorceries in the deck. I'm running 25 artifacts, which you think that would be enough, but no, you need more. You need more ways to get it. So I'm running things like Stormkiln Artist. I'm running Trail of Evidence. I'm running Saheeli Sublime Artificer, Brass's Bounty, Metallurgic Summoning. All these things do exactly what I want them to do. They create more tokens when I cast an instant or sorcery, or they're a sorcery or instant themselves. They just kind of help me get this stuff out. They build up my board state, and it just kind of allows me to keep playing more and more spells.
Yeah, that makes sense. Stuff that pulls double duty. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I tried to build a Brutaclad deck at one point, and I was trying to balance it between, okay, I need to have 1 billion tokens, but also I need something for those 1 billion tokens to turn into that's cool. So I was trying to do both, and this is probably my least experienced color combination. I don't care for Storm. I don't particularly care for artifacts. It's the 2 main things that this color combination do aren't things that are particularly interesting to me. So I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here.
Yeah, it can be tricky at first. For me, it kind of took a while to actually build the deck. I'm still not fully finished with certain aspects of the deck right now. Prismari commands come in and out of the deck 4 or 5 times at this point, and it's just because it offers versatility, but it kind of in a narrow way, if that makes sense. So that's kind of the tricky part about it, is deciding what's going to be most beneficial.
Yeah, what was one card you were sad to cut? Do you have any pet cards?
There are a couple cards I was really sad to cut. They all made the deck Niv Mizzet work way, way, way better than he should have. I had to cut my 2 favorite combo pieces at that time, not really anymore, Ophidianite and Curiosity for this deck.
Right.
It doesn't really do what the deck wants to do anymore. I also had to cut Omniscience from the deck, or as I like to call it, Omniscience.
Omniscience? Yeah, anytime you gotta cut Omniscience, that's a hard cut. I'd be pretty sad about that, too.
Thing is, it doesn't ramp enough.
No.
The deck doesn't ramp enough to actually get it out. So it was a hard cut for me.
Yeah, your Galazeth seems like he wants to run pretty low to the ground and really fast.
The thing is, his tapping ability only really works for instants and sorcery. So trying to get the extra mana out for that just doesn't work at all.
Makes total sense. So yeah, definitely Omniscience. That's a hard one to cut.
Yeah.
Are there any new cards that are on your radar that you're considering adding for the deck?
Yeah, 3 of them. All of them from Innistrad Midnight Hunt.
Ooh!
And I'm struggling so hard. Yeah, the first one is Vadric Astral Archmage. The cost-reducing effect on it is just way too good to pass up. It can be a little tricky with this deck because I do want to storm off, so Sometimes the night and day triggers can kind of mess me up a little bit. But even if I just reduce the cost of a spell by 1, that's fine.
Yeah.
The weird part here is like the 3 cards I'm actually regretting right now are actually all red-blue cards.
Yeah.
The second one is Galvanic Iteration. It's that new one from Midnight Hunt that copies instant sorcery spells. It has a flashback cost on it. So it can kind of like help me just kind of jumpstart extra combos and get like a higher storm count really easily.
Right.
And then the last one is actually Arcane Infusion. It's probably the least exciting of the 3. It's probably the one I'm least likely to add to the deck, but it's also kind of one that I want to include, is it can help me kind of find like finishing pieces in the deck. Looking at the top 4 cards of your library, it's just kind of like a nice inclusion that I wish I had the room for right now.
Yeah, well, good luck making some cuts for that. It's like Tatyova. It's like I had to add in Ren and 7. It's like, oh my god, what do I cut? And like,
yeah,
Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, ended up having to be the one. Because it's like, what good card do you cut from the good deck full of good cards?
Unfortunately for me, it's probably going to be Niv Mizzet. So
Yeah.
I got to
poor
give
Niv.
up on that one. I know.
Niv, you're fired.
For now. I'll find a deck for you later.
So, knowing that it switched from Niv Mizzet to Galazeth, and you're still stretching and pulling on Galazeth, do you feel that this deck is complete, or do you envision further evolution of Galazeth as he is?
Currently, I think it's complete. Unless like a new commander comes out of left field here that just kind of blows him out of the water, I don't think there's going to be very many changes afterwards. I want to add some new cards to the deck. I want to make sure I can get like the deck going exactly how I want it to.
Right.
But yeah, for right now, it's done.
Yeah, same here. I'm in a really good place with Tatyova, and that probably explains why these are both of our favorite commanders, because they're pretty much where we want them, and then every new card that comes along that we want to put in there, it's like, oh my god, you agonize over what you take out, because everything in the deck is good. Everything is worth its spot in the deck, and you just have to pick which card you like over the other card.
It's so tough sometimes.
It is.
And, like sometimes it comes down to like this 2-mana spell is slightly better than this 2-mana spell. So
Right.
I guess I put the slightly better one in.
Exactly. So I think that about wraps this up. That was a really fun interview. I enjoyed getting a little insight into your deck, Chris.
Thanks, Dave. I can say the same about yours. I just really don't want to play against it anytime soon.
Yeah, that's fair. Ren and 7 into a Sunder is a 10-mana way to lose all your friends.
Yeah, and you certainly lost me as one.
Aw, we're not friends?
Anyways, I'm Chris Lane, Tattler of Tales.
Okay, and I guess I'm Dave, Guru of Loneliness. Anyways, thanks for spending some time with us.
And thanks for watching.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, Dave, what's going on?
Which commander tastes best as a hot beverage?
I don't know. What commander tastes best as a hot beverage?
Kodama of the East tea.
Oh, Lord, I'm going to go make a cup of tea now, actually.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.